Lots of insulation types are being used in commercial or residential buildings. In this case, insulation is often used in order to assure an airflow and to help people save on their energy bills. Usually the ceilings, floors and walls are insulated because they are better at keeping the heat inside the house when it's cold outside and lower the energy bills. It is interesting to know that each sort of insulation has its own R value. This is used in order to measure if a piece of insulation is effective or not. It is measured according to the thickness of the insulation, density and the material. If a piece of insulation is effective, then the R value is definitely high. There are lots of insulation kinds on the market, but those that are most used are the following ones: blanket, loose fill, rigid board and spray foam. The loose fill kind of insulation is made out of loose fibers and pellets, which are blown inside cavities with the help of special equipment. This sort of insulation costs a bit more, but it is one of the most efficient methods to keep the warm air inside. There are two types of insulation in this case: cellulose fiber and a mixture made out of rock wool and fiberglass. It is interesting to know that the cellulose fiber comes from the recycling of newspapers. In order to make it resistant to fire, it has to be treated with a chemical substance. The second category of insulation, blanket, is the most common sort of insulation used. It is made out of mineral fibers, and it is delivered in rolls of blankets of different sizes. This is usually fitted between rafters and wood frames, and it has to be able to include even the space below the floors inside the walls or above the ceilings. Its cost is very acceptable, but it does need to be handled with care when it is being installed. When it comes to the rigid board insulation, this is normally made out of polyurethane, fiberglass or polystyrene. This kind of insulation is qualitative and it can be used in different thicknesses. It is first used for the flat roofs or the basement walls, the cathedral ceilings and the concrete edges. In the case of using board insulation indoors, it has to be covered with consideration and according to the rules of safety. For the outdoors version, it should be covered with weatherproof features. The spray foam insulation is made out of a type of foaming agent and a polymer one. It is usually sprayed into tiny cracks or spaces. This kind of insulation is perfect for the areas that don't have a regular shape. When it is applied, it comes in liquid form, but in a short period of time it transforms into a solid mass. Both professionals and untrained people can apply this kind of insulation because it is simple to use. In the case of the spray foams, they cost a bit more than the blanket insulation, but they are more effective.